This presentation it's just an online resource that I found that was quite useful, and I think before lesson 3, please view this because it will help. Because in lesson 3 it gets a little bit advanced, and again, if you want these presentations on PDF or the actual presentations, please email me, and I will email them to you on request and to subscribers only. Thank you. I'll not be speaking through these presentations because there's too many words and it'll take too long. Again, please ignore any Chinese characters on there. We haven't gone through them and the pronunciation to them, and some of them are actually traditional Chinese, and I'll point out which ones and actually tell you the simplified version of them which we're going to learn. And we will do a combination of both at times. So please ignore them now because they've got no PinYin on them and you will struggle. And I haven't gone through the sounds at all yet, so ignore. Just look at the English for now. It's very ideal to look at the history of the Chinese language. I mean, this presentation pretty much covers what I'm going to do in lessons 4, 5, 6 as well, but I'll go in a little more depth than some of this and how we use this. Because ideally, they come to look at the word order, and we haven't looked at verb conjugation yet, which is something that we will look at as well. Yeah, and we'll look at these classifier obligatories and their uses. Again, as I said, like this character for cat, Mao, is actually traditional. This radical is traditional Chinese, because the simplified radical is not that. And nowadays these two dots represent a straight line, and they got rid of this dash here and this middle dash here. So it's only 2 dashes, and I'll write that down when we come to look at it in the next lesson. Yeah, again, I will go through PinYin at some point because there are discrepancies with the actual Chinese spelling of certain places and the English spelling, because actually in Chinese TS and Q are not really related, and TS and Z are not related at all in any way, because in Chinese we pronounce it a little bit differently. TS has more of an S sound than the T, or both in equivalent. CH isn't different to ZH, so don't use CH when you're writing it, only English. People in China will not understand if you write in that way at all. We'll tell them that the pinyin for it is that, because we don't use pinyin as much. But pinyin is useful. It's very useful. Just learns backup basis. But we are going to use pinyin and slowly take them away, and I will be doing more and more tests. And I think because I learned it this way, and I found it very useful to do pinyin, do it with basic words, do tests, build up vocab, pinyin, do test, get rid of pinyin, and then probably by lesson 20, 21, we're going to look at complex vocab pronunciation without pinyin romanization, because English and Chinese, as it's just like English and Korean and English and Japanese, are not related, and they can cause mishaps. And there are certain rules with pronunciation. Obviously, you might see that one was gone because that was no longer used anymore. Pictographs, we're going to look at them and what they are. Yep, again, all these pictographs will look at what this is and how it's used. So I'm going to go a little bit quicker here. Ignore any Chinese there. Just ignore it, basically. Ignore any Chinese character you see because there's no pinyin, and I haven't talked through the sounds of them yet and how we pronounce them. And I'll go through that possibly in lessons 6 or 7. It's going a little bit too far, but it's very good to actually have insight to what it looks like. Again, if you look at these characters here, they haven't got pinyin, but if I just say it, the first one, the pinyin should be qing, 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 and the I should be of a neutral tone, which is a flat tone, tone number 1. Next one is qi, qi, qi. Again, this one, qi, you probably notice the tone goes up. Qi, yi, you know the I is yi, so it's tone number 2, the rising tone. Next one is shu, as in bi shu, which is calligraphy. Shu, shu as again the oo sound, the tone should be a flat tone. Next one is hua, hua. Now this is one with exceptions that I didn't go through with tones and stuff. We can have 2 vowels, and it's always the tone that goes on to the middle vowel. So if we have more than 1 vowel, 2 vowels, rarely 3, the tone is on this middle vowel here, the U. Hua, hua as mean painting or drawing. Hua is a very special character which we can look at, because hua in itself is also a noun as well as a verb. Hua can mean a painting, a drawing, and hua also means to draw, to paint as well. It's a verb and a noun at the same time in Chinese language, so it's complex. Be careful, because if you pronounce this wrong, you'll form another character. So I keep hearing people, instead of pronouncing hua, hua, they say hua, hua. Hua means flower, and hua means painting, and it should be the 4th tone here. and not a flat tone. A lot of people do find it difficult for the third tone. Please review lesson 2 if you're struggling with tones and intonations and sounds of the vowels and the different tones. Please review that thoroughly until you are capable of pronouncing words, basic pinyin correctly and pronouncing it with the correct tone. If not, review it and review and use other resources that will help you with tone and intonations in Chinese language, because you will struggle when we get to about lessons 6 or above, because when we come to put in sentence there will be a lot of more tones than you expect, and again the intonation comes in handy there when you'll see that actually the whole sentence, the tone is like a wave, like a sound wave, and I will go through what that is literally. So again, a bit of history about the writing. If you really haven't read bits properly, do stop, pause at any point and read it, because I will go quite fast because there are a lot of slides. Yeah, you might see these characters that look very weird compared to these ones. The ones written on the computer, they may look neater than handwritten ones like this. The handwritten one is joint, so I'll go through the radicals and everything and you should be able to figure out what it looks like. So I will be writing in this style, because I obviously do write in this style, and a lot of people who, of course, know Chinese very well write in that style. And here again we've got some more ancient writing, and that looks like Japanese, but it's Chinese joint handwriting, and very early Chinese language. Yeah, this Chinese language or joint, I can understand it, but beginners won't, so I'm not going to go in that much depth of understanding this. So again, everything is joint. This one is a lot neater and still joint, and that's traditional Chinese, and you can tell from these characters. Oops. And yeah, again, joint handwriting. We've got a phrase here on the picture. A lot of Chinese pictures have these sort of writing here, and I'll go through about Chinese book sculptures, because in ancient Chinese times they write downwards. They would go downwards and from the right to the left and continuously downward. Now they go from left to right in a straight line, like as in English language, and the book goes from the right to the left. So basically it's a mirror reflection of the way you read it. And there's certain rules of writing these now. And also you might find that they write some, especially in southern China, the characters are written from you have to read them from the right to the left in the straight line instead of the left to the right, which left to the right is usually north, right to the left is south, central, and western China. Again, more pictographs. I'll go through all these and how they're used. This is hieroglyphs. To be honest, this thing is just more historic, about writing. Yes, a little bit facts about Chinese spoken language. Yeah, the dialects, which you see, because there are so many dialects. That's a major dialects. Yeah. Putonghua, obviously. Yeah, it's a common language of People Republic of China, and it's an often dialect. And I speak that dialect. It's got Mandarin, modern Standard Chinese, or Putonghua. Yeah, 70% of the Hans. So we're I'm one of the Han people. Again, you probably go learning that yourself. I haven't taught any pronunciation of this yet, so these characters, ignore them, because not all of them match what the word says. That's English and that's Chinese, and we don't pronounce it. Like Tai Chi as well, Tai Chi, or that Doufu. Again, it comes from that Kung Fu. All of it comes in there. Again, obviously it talks like this. Just talking about Chinese culture now. Yeah, simplification. It's just like saying, in Korea as well, they simplified it. Their characters from Hanja, which is Chinese characters, to their own Hangul, and the Chinese characters as well from Cantonese styled characters, which is traditional, to simplified quite very early on actually, and we use them now. So we literally simplified Chinese had a bit of traditional, but now we eradicated it all now. So everyone writes in simplified Chinese, even though if you were born before that, and that when you were 60-ish, of course. Again, it just talks about it, and obviously here they've got PinYin, but that's not Pinyin, so yeah, don't bother. Pinyin here, and that's quite complex. That's fairly traditional. Some are quite complex like that. Some can be simple by miao jia. Again, pu jia, miao by yao, tai, bu yi, zhang zhuang, and all this stuff. You can ignore them now. The full treasures. Obviously, you can describe them. They're here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Obviously, it goes first, and then they talk about how it's written with stuff. Okay, yeah, this is just history. You can read this at your own time. Ignore Chinese characters. That's entirely, you just need to ignore them. Some of them are actually traditional. Don't bother. This thing is worth reading at your own time. Answer the question if you want, but they're no use to learning Chinese. It's just about the history. And we come to the end of the slideshow. Thanks for